Welcome to one and welcome to all. This is Emdad, otherwise known as the Wandering Londoner, and I'm your host for the Sports Show by LB24 TV. Now, one of the pinnacles of human achievement in any discipline of sports is to participate or represent your homeland or your country in a World Cup. And I've always held ambitions of either having a guest, a player, male or female, a number of players, people who have participated in a World Cup, and to bring them into the studio here on the Sports Show to talk about their exploits. And luckily, before the end of the year, I'm happy to say that I do have two distinguished guests here with me today. So without wasting any more time on myself, what I'd like to do is to introduce you to two guests who recently have returned from playing international hockey during the World Cup in Auckland, New Zealand. And they're sitting here to my right now here as well. So welcome to Abdul Khalik and welcome to Saiful Islam. Now you both represented fantastic achievement and congratulations in advance for your achievement. So we like to get into the show pretty much straightforward. So you recently both had a wonderful experience where you represented Team Bangladesh at World Cup level in Auckland, New Zealand for Bangladesh. So Abdul Khalik, tell us a little bit about the background of the tournament and about your experience.
The tournament happened in November in Auckland. It's the first time Bangladesh ever played in a World Cup at any level, basically. Unfortunately, obviously, Bangladesh wasn't seeded, so we were placed in a very, very tough group. The eventual winners and the runners-up were in our group, and the Asian champions, Malaysia, were in our group as well. I mean, apart from the results, we struggled with because of fitness, but in terms of the whole experience, it's a wonderful experience that just to be involved, playing with other nations, is really good fun, and we're really proud to represent Bangladesh.
Saiful, obviously you're a household name on the vet circuit, distinguished sportsman covering quite a few disciplines in sport, which we'll come to later as well. So we know you made your bones as a goalkeeper in football. What position did you play when you represented Bangladesh in the hockey?
Left back or right back, to be honest, in defence. Because when we got out there, we realised the guys from the UK were actually with the legs. And we knew as probably the lowest seeded team in the tournament, we'll have to be doing a lot of running in the tournament. So therefore, we put our strongest players to be at the back to compete against the teams. I mean, you could tell they were far superior from Bangladesh. Most of them have played international hockey. Most of them have played at the highest level. You know, so we knew we have to have strong players at the back to compete against the other teams.
How proud does it make you to represent Bangladesh on this stage?
To be honest, it was an absolute honour and a privilege. When I got the call, I got a call from Khalik Bhai saying, listen, would you be up for selection for the World Cup? I was just speechless, to be honest. But at the end, when we got selected, it was an honour, it's a privilege to be able to say, you know what, I've played for Bangladesh. It doesn't matter what the results were, what our team was, it was just being able to go and wear those shirts and walk out onto that pitch, you know, chest puffed up, you know, it's fantastic. What an experience for us. I said to anybody, if you get a chance, you know, do it. Never say no to anything.
Just how difficult was it being a non-seeded team? Because we understand, obviously, the seeded teams are there, and you've mentioned just very briefly, just a little bit earlier, that you, in the same group, you had the semi-finalists and the finalists, or both finalists. Just how challenging and difficult was it, being unseeded?
It was really tough, especially most of these international sides are together for 2-3 months together. They train together, and unfortunately, with our Bangladesh team, we basically formed at the last moment because we had some visa issues. We had a team of a strong squad of like 24. 6 of us actually went from the UK, all playing for Bengal Tigers in the UK. Just newly formed a club as well. and then the rest came from Bangladesh. They only knew about a week before the tournament that they actually got the visa. So it's very hard to meet up and such. So we had no preparation whatsoever. So we grew into the tournament basically. So it's quite hard to organize such. But overall, I mean, it was a good performance. It just took us a few games to get into. It was very difficult.
So Saiful, sometimes people say during sport, some managers will say that they have to be prepared beforehand, especially if they're going into a major tournament, as you've done. Some will say, look, I actually enjoy things happening last minute. So I'm citing, for example, one of the great examples in sport that we can use is 1992 Denmark. When Yugoslavia were kicked out of the tournament, Denmark were actually on their beaches. They were sat on their towels, sunbathing their bodies. They got the call 24 hours before to say, come to the tournament. They not only turned up to the tournament, they won the championship, the Euro 92 championships in Sweden. So for you, what were the key factors involved in late preparations, and then the selections, and then the whole emotions going around in your head? What did you focus on to get yourself ready?
I focus on fitness. You know, for me, for us to fly out, it was like on the plane for 26 hours. And we knew Bangladesh were on the next day. So literally we landed at 12, opening ceremony at 4 o'clock, then go and rest because we've been traveling. Next day we're on. So fitness was a key issue, because if we weren't fit enough, mentally you'd be down. So I had to, the 3-4 weeks beforehand, when we knew we were going, we played every week with our clubs, we trained, worked on our fitness, because I didn't want to come back thinking, you know what, I could have given more. Because playing 6 games in 8 days, and these are full games, these are not 30-minute games, these are full games. It takes a lot of your body. And fitness-wise, to be honest, alhamdulillah, I didn't feel it, because that was my main priority, just to get fit for the tournament.
Get fit, fantastic. Just for the benefit of our viewers, hockey is not an extremely, again, we're going to discuss this further during the show. But just for the benefit of our viewers, 6 games in 8 days. What is the length of a game?
Hockey games are played in quarters at international level. So normally it's actually 15 minutes a quarter, but Masters hockey is played 10 minutes. But it's a lot of running. And the biggest difference was actually, especially the European sides, they were training for 2-3 months, preparing, and they knew each member in the squad. The difference with us was we only basically knew who was playing in the last week or so. So getting to know each other's play, style of play was quite difficult. Plus, Bangladesh, with the recent turmoil, they couldn't have any access the last 4 months. So they had no sports facilities were open. So unfortunately, fitness was the issue, which let us down a bit. But inshallah, the next tournament, there's Asian Championship this year. The team should be a bit more fitter, and more players should be available as well. Unfortunately, from this country, there's not many over 45 players that you can actually select from. So at the moment, currently, all the players are actually being picked from Bengal Tigers, who are based in East London Hockey Club. We play in the we play in the men's league, proper league. We play in Division Division 3 in the southeast, which we're doing quite well. We're second at the moment in the league as well. And that's in the open age. So alhamdulillah, everything so far is really good.
So there's quite a few factors going against a team. For example, time, limitations, access to training facilities, decent training facilities. You can't just go into the park and train for a tournament like this. Decent. Then you've got costs, you've got sponsorship, recruitment. There's so many issues that we can name. It's obvious from your achievements, and we're going to talk about your achievements a little further ahead, but it's obvious from your achievement that there was a little bit of magic in that squad. So I'm talking to focus, Saiful, on character, because to me, from what I've heard, despite there's been quite a few setbacks, you guys refuse to look at them as negatives. In fact, you turn them into positives. Just how important was the overall character of your squad members in ensuring so much success?
Do you know what it is? Like me, Khalik, and a few other guys that went from England, we've known each other for over 35 years, to be honest. And that friendship, that camaraderie, that brotherhood, you can't take that away from us. And we stayed together. We did literally 17 days we spent together, you know, and the bond, if somebody was down, there's always one to pick you up. If somebody's struggling, there's another one to pull you up. So, you know, the support system behind us was fantastic. Even the guys from Bank, we've never met most of them, but on the pitch, the friendships, the camaraderies, on the sidelines, everyone's encouraging everyone. So remember, you play football, we've known each other from football. It's when somebody's in a bad name, when somebody's like shouting and swearing, that player mentally is going to go down. But with that squad, we knew there's a lot of hard work for us, but the encouragement was the one that helped everyone to actually get through. And I mean, like I said, a team like Australia, every 2 or 3 minutes, a player's coming on, player's coming off. But with us, if we took that player off, like for like, it's not the same. Yes. So the better players literally had to play the whole game to compete. If we took the better players off, it'll be a big problem for Bangladesh on that pitch. So hence, 6 or 7 guys had to play every single minute, every single game. Right. So it didn't help in that sense. But you know what? It's an experience that we can learn from for the future tournaments if we do get selected again.
So from a coaching point of view, that's a big learning point for us, isn't it, going forward? That in preparation for a major tournament or any tournament, whether it's on a local level, national level, or even an international global level as well, it's important to have the best squad available. That even when you have the best squad available, you might not be able to, and from what I'm gathering from speaking to both you gentlemen, hockey is a game where most of your opponents are cashing in on fresh legs. So they're constantly recycling players. So they're bringing someone on, bringing someone off, bringing someone, so keeping things fresh, which maintains a certain ability and a certain type of game and a certain amount of energy throughout the game as well. So to ensure that rotation is key, and why is it? And it must be very important to have a squad which is at a very decent level overall.
Yeah, I mean, unlike football, where if you come off, you can't come back on, but hockey is a roll on, roll off. So you can come on and off as many times as you wish. So fitness is absolutely key. But with the other sides, especially with the European sides, they only play 5-6 minutes at one go. They come off and the fresh legs come on. Unfortunately, we didn't have a squad in that depth that we were able to change. Plus, obviously, because some of our players didn't have access to facilities, we weren't able to train for the last 4 months. So that made a big factor, obviously. And the other factor was these sides were together for 2-3 months before the tournament. So they had a setup, they had the team plan, which we only got basically the day before the tournament. We got together and had to sort out the formations and such, which didn't help.
So Saiful, with your phenomenal success during this tournament, just how much of an incentive now is it for you going forward to maintain the progress that you've made?
Do you know
what steps are you going to take?
First and foremost, we have to keep on playing, you know, represent our club, Bengal Tigers. If it was for Bengal Tigers, none of us would be there in the first place. Because of Bengal Tigers we've been touring Bangladesh for the last 5-6 years, right, Khalik Bhai? So that's how they've got to know us. So we've got, first of all, this is our bread and butter, Bengal Tigers. Play the hockey, you know, they know who we are. If they need us, again, Asia Cup, hopefully, inshallah, next year is coming up somewhere in Asia. Again, we'll probably put up for selection. If they select us, we'll be ready. Fitness-wise, we'll work on our fitness, and we're playing week in, week out. And we're not playing vets hockey, we're playing open age hockey. Division 3, in England, probably hockey starts in Division 3. The talent, the fitness. So I'm 47, I'm marking somebody who's 20 years younger than me. So if I'm not fit, you know, I'll be able to play. So it's so important, key in our community. You know, fitness, at our age, people think, you know what, you guys need to retire and just stay at home, eat and sleep. But sport is such a brilliant thing that where we can keep on going.
Which brings me to an appropriate question as well. So it's a club versus country debate. Some people will say, look, club pay my wages. We're talking about an amateur level. I'm just using the professional game in any sport as a yardstick here as well. But people's loyalties always mostly will remain with the club. The club pays the wages. The club is the one that provides the foundation. The club is the family that looks after them. So international appearances take a back seat. But at an amateur level, it also makes sense because the club is where you make your bones. The club, it may not be perfect at grassroots level, but it's where you get your training facilities done. It's where you incorporate your training regime. It's where you meet your teammates. It's where you build that brotherhood, unity, sisterhood, whoever's playing amongst yourselves as well. You're obviously very proud. You both came in dressed with your club stripes as well. How important has Bengal Tigers been? You have mentioned, that with lack of facilities, with lack of participation from players, you had to pretty much get a team together at the 23rd hour. So how important has Bengal Tigers been on your journey?
To be honest, Bengal Tigers has been very, very important. If Bengal Tigers wasn't set up, because Bangladesh would be struggling to actually compete in these tournaments. Only basically in March this year, the Indoor World Cup happened, and Bangladesh entered the side into the World Cup, and unfortunately with visa issues, they didn't get the visas. So they actually contacted myself, because I'm the coach at Bengal Tigers, said we need a few players to represent Bangladesh who are actually good enough. But luckily, at Bengal Tigers, we've got enough players over the age of 45 that can at that level, and we were very good at indoor. We were national champions at school age. So we represented Bangladesh at indoor in March, actually, which we did really well. I think we came 7th in the world, which is really, really a good achievement. Bengal Tigers actually was formed in terms of, it's just the other thing we set out for is just general fitness. At our age, I'm actually 50 now, alhamdulillah, and most of our generations don't play any sports. And this was a really good way of keeping fit, with the youngsters, staying out of trouble as well, keeps you focused, you train once, you play over the weekend as well. And that's enabled us to basically feed out these players into the Bangladesh side. Which is, and basically we train once as well, so we're ready for any time the nation basically requires us.
Saiful, so hockey has a lower profile than sports like football, for example, on a local level, on a national level. Why is hockey important as a community sport?
Do you know what? We always go back to fitness. It's friendships. Hockey predominantly in this country is a private school sport, because the normal school that we went to, it was all about football, right? But hockey is a private school sport. Luckily for us, like these guys, Khalik went to Dainford, I went to Homerton House in Hackney, and we had 2 teachers in both schools who were mad about hockey, and it's actually because of those 2 guys that a lot of us went into hockey. Otherwise, it would have been football. I didn't know what hockey, until I went to secondary school, honestly, I didn't know what hockey was. But hockey, because of hockey, I've made friends for life. These are not friends, these are brothers now. We've known each other so long. I've traveled all over the world with all these guys. We're talking Bengal Tigers. Bengal Tigers originally was set up as a touring team. So we used to actually go take teams to Dubai, to Bangladesh, to Singapore, to wherever, just to tour. And that's how Bengal Tigers was set up, as a touring team. But eventually, you know what, we're having such a great time, let's set up a club in the UK. And we'll take that one step further and set up a club. We play also now, because of us, the door's going to be open for the younger ones that come through Bengal Tigers to, inshallah, be selected for Bangladesh in the lower age groups. So it's not just us, but we're opening the door for all the others to come through.
For the generations.
Yeah, to forward.
Khalik, going back to you. So let's get back, because I'm so excited about your achievements in the World Cup. The World Cup, it's the World Cup. And to be honest with you, both of you guys, I'm quite astonished with the lack of press that you guys have received, and the plaudits and the celebration that you haven't. It's a bit of injustice that the community hasn't celebrated you as you should have been celebrated. I know the media will turn around and say, but they never let us know about what's happening. That's not good enough, but that's an argument for another day as well. But the biggest achievement during the World Cup in Auckland, New Zealand, was little Bangladesh, who almost did a Denmark, who you could compare to Denmark, came off their sun loungers, got there with the motley crew, Again, with that, I'm not being disrespectful. I'm just saying, got there with the motley crew, and you won a bronze medal. Am I right? During the tournament. So tell us about your phenomenal success.
Bronze medal, I think, to be honest, they gave the basically medals to everyone who participated. But the biggest thing, I mean, it was just being able to play at that level. And Bangladesh has never played in an international tournament. So we got really good response from the opposition as well. And Masters Hockey itself, they were so happy that team like Bangladesh have played in the Masters tournament. And we weren't overwhelmed by any side. It took us a few games to get into it. I think the last game, which we played really well, unfortunately we lost 2-0 to Wales, which is a good result in terms of for Bangladesh.
Brilliant result.
Yeah.
Saiful, if I'm correct, as research suggests, this is the first time a team from Bangladesh at any level has participated in a World Cup.
In hockey, yes.
In hockey.
In hockey, but Alhamdulillah, the younger generation coming through in Bangladesh, under 19 level. We got the girls team, the boys team, they're doing brilliantly. So hopefully, moving forward, Bangladesh will have more teams going into the tournaments. But with a special, like from this World Cup, we've had invitations from South Africa, Argentina, Australia, other teams, inviting us to actually go out there and play. You know, come and tour, come and play with us, we'll organise games. So we've made friends from, and the other thing is, we've met players out in New Zealand that we used to play with in this country over 25 years ago.
Wow.
You know, I had a tap on my shoulder, looked around, he was with the England 55. He was my captain at Bishop Stortford when I played for Bishop Stortford when I was 20. That's 27 years ago. And I haven't seen him for 27 years. I've met him in New Zealand. And with Khalik and that, we used to play for Chelmsford. Some of the South African internationals that we played with 25 years ago, you know.
They're still there. They're on the circuit.
Yeah.
Important question for you both. You both spoke about your careers in school when you were youngsters. You're still youngsters, but when you were a little bit younger. This is a question for you both as well. Khalid can go first. How important was the role of your PE teacher as a guide and as a mentor in helping shape your career in hockey?
Yeah, my school teacher was very important. Obviously, at Dainford, we played hockey from the age of 12. Straight away, to be honest, Martin Foxall, who was at Homerton, he was our main coach. So he used to coach us 4 or 5 times a week, actually. And when we were 15, 16, we entered the national champions, and we actually came winners. So indoor, we were the best indoor side in England, which is very important. And at that age, a lot of our friends and such were going into bad habits and doing assessments. So he kept us straight line and kept us on a good path, basically. And actually, even through hockey, actually, even my job, I'm into properties, and I've got a letting agent now. Even through that, I went through an ex-hockey player. I worked for him for a few years, and that's why I went into properties as well through hockey as well, which has given us a really good lifeline.
Excellent. And you, Saiful?
I mean, Martin Foxall, he was my coach. He was my teacher. I mean, Dainford, they won the indoor national championship. At Homerton, our school won the outdoor national title 3 years, 3 times in 5 years. So again, because of Martin, my school was in Hackney. So alhamdulillah, because of him, I kept out of trouble. You know, weekends I was playing hockey, after school I was hockey, school holidays you're away with hockey. So at that time, hockey was everything for us because you're playing with your friends. And that's what kept me excited and motivated throughout the whole time. And still now, these guys, you know, we're friends, you know, with all these years, our families know each other, everybody knows everyone. So it's nice to be able to go away with people you know.
I want to talk to you about community support. Number one, why should the community support a team like Bengal Tigers, for example, which in turn is helping the Bangladeshi national team? And what do you expect in terms of support?
We do need support. This is basically amateur sport. Alhamdulillah, when I was younger, it was a semi-professional when I played for Chelmsford for 5 years. I also played for Maidstone. But obviously now it's all self-funded. So in terms of, it gives a good name for the Bangladeshi community, playing in a national sport as well. But sponsors that we can do with, as a club, there's loads of expenses such as training, slots, matches, umpires you have to pay and such. So we're always looking for sponsors that can help us run the club year on year on.
So just how expensive is it? Do you need to rob a bank or do you need to recruit a sheikh from the Emirates?
To be honest, the New Zealand trip probably cost us on average about £4,000 each. But again, if there are sponsors on board, we in a way are putting Bangladesh on the map. The only time Bangladesh has played in the World Cup before is cricket. And since cricket, this is the first Bangladesh team to actually participate in a global tournament in any age group. So it's actually a big thing that what these guys, what we've achieved as a team. And going forward, there'll be a lot more opportunities. You've got the Asian Cup, you've got World Cups coming up. And we've got so many big companies, Bengali owners. It's your name, publicity for you guys as well, to participate in something which is amazing, to be honest. Every other team's getting, the Malaysian team, for example, they funded half of it, but there were sponsors to help them to get there.
To help them.
New Zealand's not a cheap place to go, all the way out there. So in the future, when the younger ones coming through, it'd be great to have sponsors on board to help these guys with the costs.
Going back to Nottingham earlier this year, we touched on it earlier. So you also participated, if I'm correct, it was an indoor World Cup in Nottingham. Please tell us about your experience there.
Indoor World Cup was really fantastic. Basically, we finished 7th out of 14 teams. Bangladesh, basically, at international level, Bangladesh only played teams such as Pakistan, India, Sri Lanka, and we were able to play against Australia. We just lost 7-6. We beat Canada. We lost 5-4 against Wales, which is, the whole hockey side of Bangladesh was really, really happy and delighted with the results. Inshallah, we're going forward with these experiences. The next tournaments, we should be doing better. With all this experience would help as well. So the next World Cup in indoor will probably be in America in 2026. So inshallah, I think Bangladesh will do better at that level as well.
Going forward, Saiful, what can you as a team do better to promote yourselves, promote the team, and to promote the sport within our community?
I think we need more people, like in football, we have a lot of people turning up to watch football. I think it'd be nice for our community, people to turn up, start participating in the sport, watching the sport. That's how we got involved into it. And for Bangladesh as a team or any team doing well, going to tournaments, before tournaments, maybe one thing we definitely have to do, I think, before the next tournament is actually meet up beforehand and train as a team, where we're not thinking about tactics on the day of the first game, where a week before maybe we meet up in Bangladesh or we meet somewhere in the middle, or we can train or, get to know each other. Because remember, on that first day, you don't even know what the other person's going to do on the pitch. So you don't know where the runs are, you don't know where to put the ball because you've never played with these guys.
Huge challenges.
It's a massive challenge because we know each other's games.
Yes.
But it's the other guys that Bangladesh, we have to, again, this is where costings come in because we're still self-funding most of these things. To be able to meet up a week before, that's another week's cost for the rest of us.
But do you think it would be realistic, Khalik, even to... Am I being unrealistic in saying that maybe even the Bangladeshi government could invite you guys over and say, look, we put on a sports camp, we subsidize your costs, because for the benefit of the flag and the benefit of the country, what we're going to do is 2 times a year, let's say 2 times a year, we're going to get a camp together where only you guys, potential squad members, just like any other sports, England get together at St. George's Park. What we'll do is we'll get you organised and we'll pay for the costs involved. just to get you. Again, that would be very beneficial, wouldn't it? It's a no-brainer. It would be extremely beneficial for you guys to either go to Bangladesh or they hire a top hockey facilities here and say, right, what we're going to do is we're going to send over, or maybe even have 2 camps. One in Bangladesh, where you guys go over, the national team subsidizes the cost, pays for that. You're representing Bangladesh. And the second camp could be in the UK, where they pay for a camp here in the UK, where the boys come over and they, again, that would be wonderful. If you are a potential sponsor or a hockey lover who's watching now, please do get in touch with the sports show, and we can get you in touch with Saiful and Khalik going forward, because I'm particularly interested. Like I said, I always wanted a World Cup participating team, World Cup participating individuals, coaches on here as well. Now in London, and like I said, the sports show focuses on complete amateur levels. It's about celebrating people who are carrying out wonderful work at amateur levels. Yes, sometimes we'll get a superstar here and there, but the ethos when I started the sports show with Shah was to have people from the community, from the grassroots community, who are just achieving fantastic outcomes whilst holding down full-time jobs, family life, etc. And then just with their phenomenal achievements in sport. I myself have achieved, I mean, in terms of my participation in a London Football League, they arrange a football tournament every year, the World Cup. And I was lucky to be selected as head coach for Bangladesh. Saiful knows about this. And I have the honor, and like I say, it's grassroots level, but it's in sports, it's definitely my biggest honor, is that the fact that I've led Bangladesh to 2 successive victories, 2 victories, not successive, 2 victories and 2 semi-finals. In fact, my obsession was such, I'm disappointed with the semi-finals. Even though a lot of people were like, look, you've done brilliant, you've done 2 semi-finals as well, simply because of the caliber of players at my disposal and the desire to succeed. But again, Saiful's been there to watch it as well, and you guys have experienced it at first hand. What you can't replicate during our interview here is the feeling on the day, putting that shirt on, having that badge on your chest, getting together, taking those pictures, trying to control your emotions when the national anthem is being played. These are huge things for us. So first and foremost, I salute you all for this.
Anyway, can I say something?
Yes.
This guy on my left actually captained Bangladesh in one of the games of the World Cup. So what big achievement can you ask for than that? Captain of Bangladesh at a World Cup game.
Captain, and is one of the, well, it probably is, from a sporting perspective, apart from actually lifting the actual trophy that you're participating in, I would say it's on a par with actually lifting the trophy is captaining your country, your motherland, your homeland. So that in itself just begs another question as well. What range of emotions have you gone through by skippering Bangladesh?
Yeah, I mean, it's a wonderful feeling. Words can't describe the feeling you get when you're, first of all, playing for your country, Bangladesh, and then actually managing to actually captain the side as well. I was lucky enough to be captaining a few of the games in indoor as well. It feels really, really good. And you feel proud of yourself, or your family, and proud to be Bangladeshi as well. Hockey has given us so many good stories to tell, and I'm at 50 still playing hockey. It was a good lifestyle as well, keeps you fit, and alhamdulillah, we should be able to play in the Asian Championships this year as well.
I mean, the commitment from him, he after every game he couldn't walk. If you saw the size of his knee, he had to actually have his knee drained, fluid had to be drained from his knee to actually carry on playing the tournament, and still played every game. With that, I mean, it's frightening how he played every game. If you saw him walking after a game for the next 20 odd hours, you think he'll never get on the pitch. But he actually made himself available to play every game.
Every single game. Amazing achievement. Saiful, so I was talking about amateur level. For me, when the national anthem was being played, whilst I was managing Team Bangladesh in the London Football League World Cup, that was extremely powerful for me. It was extremely powerful for me. But this is not about me. This is about you guys. Describe your sentiments, your feeling when the national anthem was being played out loud.
Do you know what is it about? I say to people every time, it's like, you know when you go to Bangladesh, for example, you're on a plane, when that plane lands in Sylhet or Dhaka, for example, that feeling inside you there's no words to actually describe it. It's your motherland. And when you're hearing the anthem, playing for your country, again, the proudness you feel, like I said, for your family, for your friends, for everybody. But at the end of the day, it's you who's there. And there's no better moment in life than that, to be honest, honestly. It's just for me, we're vets, 50 years old, 47 years old. But to be able to have that recognition, to be selected, to be given that chance, what a privilege. What an honour in my books, you know. And hopefully, inshallah, we have other guys coming through. I mean, football, there's vet scenes. We've got some amazing, talented players. You've seen them week in, week out. We've got some amazing players in football. Again, what's stopping them going away and playing for Bangladesh in the vet scene? Because there are vets World Cup everywhere. Like you've done the Inner City World Cup, 7-a-side, right? What was it?
Yes.
I played an 11-side Inner City World Cup where we won the plate for Bangladesh.
You won the plate.
With Cameron's Way, we won the plate. And fantastic feeling, you know, playing for your country, being bang in the World Cup or Inner City World Cup in the UK, nobody can take that away from you, no matter what.
Final question for both of you. Again, this is hugely inspirational, what you've achieved throughout your careers and with your, you know, what you've done in 2024. What's your advice? So we start with Khalik. What's your advice to any youngster or even any vet who's now watching and gets inspired by what they've seen and witnessed through the course of this interview, and they want to try and emulate? It may be very difficult to emulate. Emulate is a big word, but try to follow in your footsteps going forward. What advice would you have?
My advice would be hockey is a game that you can get involved with at any age, keeps you fit. It's a way to meet new people as well. It's a way to basically keep yourself fit and then get involved with the sports. It's really good fun as well. There's various clubs you can join whichever level you're at. So you can start at a younger age. It's really good, obviously. My advice is take any sport, but hockey is really good to get into. It's quite easy to get into as well. It's lots of fun as well.
And Saiful,
I think
before you start, you're a coach yourself. Your wife is a coach as well. Have you ever thought of adding another string to your bow?
My wife's always on my case. Why don't you guys start a Bengal Tigers kids team?
Yeah.
You know, that could be in the pipeline.
So we're putting you on the spot here.
Yeah,
to
this
give us
is the man who needs to give the go ahead. You know, but to be honest, we need to have people participate in the sports. Again, we always talk about vets football. Vets football now is probably bigger than open age football. Our younger generation do not want to play football.
That's a fact.
But the problem is now these younger ones, I can't wait to play vets football. And I just don't get that mentality. When we were kids, it was all about open age football. But now, it's again with hockey. After us, there's not many Bengalis coming through. Not many Asians. Before the Sikh community, the Pakistani community had loads of players coming through in the UK. But now again, like us, the younger generation don't want to know. So I don't know where we as a seniors need to probably get involved more in the community to get the youngsters involved. And that's where it all starts from. Bringing the younger, where you guys can come into as well, with your connections, where you're involved in cricket, you're involved in football. I see you guys with the kids. I think we need to involve like a little hockey sessions with those summer camps that you guys do every year to kids what they think of it.
Food for thought. Viewers, you've been watching Abdul Khalik and myself, and also Saiful Islam here as well. And we've been talking about hockey, especially the achievements of Team Bangladesh during the course of 2024 as well. So hockey has always been seen as a sport. It may not be, but it's been seen as a sport which can be a little bit elitist. It can be seen to be an expensive sport. But from what we've gathered here today, talking to these two gentlemen, it isn't necessarily so. What I hope we have achieved through the course of our interview with these fantastic gentlemen here today is achievements come in all shapes and sizes. And also, they can occur at any time of your life. You don't have to be a spring chicken to achieve great things in your life as well. These are people who have been dogged and determined throughout their lives, to such an extent now that I wouldn't say it's the twilight of their lives, because they're not quite 50 or just knocking on the door of becoming 50 as well. But what they've done is a few things. Number one, they've remained dogged, they've remained determined, And their attitude has always been one that as long as I'm capable of moving and putting in a shift on the training ground, I am going to continue to excel at the sport which I've chosen and the sport which I love. To such an extent that these gentlemen here today have been selected to represent Team Bangladesh in the Hockey World Cup. And the sky is the limit for them as well. Now, we hope that the interview here today has ignited a love for the game amongst many of our viewers here today. But also, I should add that if you're a potential sponsor, if you are somebody who has been blessed with significant wealth, that you'll get in touch with me here at the Sports Show and try to get in contact with these people, because as we've discovered, it is very expensive. The costs are pretty lengthy when it comes to travel costs, and kit isn't cheap as well. And the least we as a community can do is support our team, our Bengal Tigers and Team Bangladesh, by providing them with some financial aid and also some expertise. If you've got pots of money which are available to provide grant funding, for example, please do get in touch. I hope you've enjoyed watching the show just as much as I have. I've been truly inspired meeting these two gentlemen here as well. And I'm sure that this is the beginning of the sports show, the beginning of a fantastic relationship with the sports show going forward. I will definitely keep in touch with them, and I will go and visit and probably watch a few games and attend a few training sessions, because I also believe that I can learn much from these gentlemen and their teammates as well. Again, have a great week ahead. This is Emdad, the Wandering Londoner, and thanks for watching the Sports Show.